How's it going, guys? The Baroque Hour, a channel I reviewed, talked about in an earlier video, released a new video for their series, Orpheus. I'm just gonna react to it. I've talked about it before. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link, probably popping up right over there, and we're just gonna go ahead and hop on into it.
Built on water and mud, a creation of color and light, Venice is an unreal city whose thousand-year history hides many mysteries. One of them is the life of the composer of this music, Antonio Vivaldi.
Okay.
Like the mask so commonly worn by 18th century Venetians, the years have hidden from us most of the details of Vivaldi.
If you have seen my video on the series, Antonio Vivaldi was mentioned in the very first episode, Autumn. It's interesting to hear that name brought up again.
He left no autobiography. There are few accounts of him in the records of his time. Within a few years of his death, he disappeared from history. The man, and almost all of his music,
Okay. Slow burn so far.
Great fear and ecstasy at the same time is the only way I can describe what befell me, dear brothers. The Master appeared to me in a dream. He revealed himself as he did for the Prophet many years ago. He chose me.
Is this voice acting? Hold on, real quick. In the video I made, I'm going to be referring to that video a lot. I'm sorry, but this video dropped after I made that video, and they commented on it, so I'm curious to see what they've improved upon. I'm already very happy to see that it looks like they did get some voice actors, or at least one. They had the AI voice generation in the past, and I'm really glad to see that hasn't happened again. Already a big improvement. I gotta pause it real quick. That was a very good horror scene. I got chills watching that part, and it's created definitely that sense of unease, because I heard somebody say this recently in a video I watched. They said that analog horror excels when you feel like you're not the only person in the room, and I have that feeling right now. Just because, maybe it's just me being pretentious, but I'm very much now aware that I don't have a blanket around me and that there's space under my desk. I just wanted to comment on that. Already I'm noticing a lot of improvement. Okay, so was Antonio Vivaldi... Is he going to appear on one of these frames? What? That's fucked. Makes me really uncomfortable. I got chills. Okay.
Upon my awakening, I received the sacred stigma. Brothers, this gives me the right to be your guide, the rightful successor of the Prophet. After years of silence, the Master has chosen me as your light. He has assigned me a task. In order to seal our union, a task of vital importance. Reunite his remains with the Prophet. He wants to rest together with him. This is his explicit wish and command. In return for our cooperation, he decided to bless us with even grander rewards than before. Power, wealth, all sorts of pleasures, at one price. The blood...
Okay, so far what we've gotten is that. Okay, that's the sign, the stigma. And Stephen said, brothers and fathers, hear me. The God of glory appeared to our father Abraham when he was in Mesopotamia, before he lived in Haran. Is that a biblical?
Great joy. We have reached it. We have reached the land between two rivers that the Master pointed out to me. At first glance, we are confronted with nothing but sand and bristling mountains. But the certainty of what we will find there urges us to continue. The local shepherds confirm that we are not going to find anything relevant. Only ancient ruins of the civilizations that once inhabited those lands. Despite this, we were told some fundamental information. Some boys warned us that, while crossing a specific place in the desert, they suddenly felt quite ill. Hallucinations, migraines, voices in their heads. They believe the area is haunted by some kind of demon. We're sure that's the place to look. Your great leader
The frame rate of the scrolling is
Antonio
a
Vivaldi.
nice touch. That's something that was definitely an intentional choice, and I like it. Also, yeah, they definitely just got a voice actor. I was worried for a second that these were kind of just voice clips that were kind of taken from the original context and put into this context, but I'm very pleased to see. Okay. This is another thing that I pointed out in the series that I personally really like, and it's kind of a stylistic choice. Um, I really enjoy that in this series the way that they set up some of their scenes. Sorry, the way that they set up some of their scenes in the series is to kind of cobble it together using different images and stuff like that. I think that kind of lends its own uncanny feeling to it. And this definitely isn't the best example or the scariest example, I guess I would say. But here's an example of I think them doing it again. Bro. That did 100% just catch me off guard. Hi. Hey, here I am. I don't know why I wasn't recording. I guess I didn't hit the button or something. I did minimize it. Maybe that messed with it. Last 3 minutes of the video. I'm here now. Let's keep going. The desert creatures will meet with the wolves. The hairy goat also will cry to its kind. Yes, the night monster will settle there and will find itself a resting place. The whole camera thing messed me up. I do want to go back and look at what popped up for a second there. Is it just like highlighting the pit? It. That's the well. That's the well. It's mentioned in another episode. Okay. Yep, okay. This is him digging the well. Whoa, fuck me, dude. That's okay. So they've scared me maybe 4 times now. Maybe 3 times. That's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. So, okay, yeah, it was big body. That's a big body. That is a large body. Okay. I don't know if that's true to how big. Hang on. Prudent people see danger and take cover. The inexperienced keep going and are punished. I'll talk about it. Okay. I don't know if that's how big the master is, or if that's kind of just like a representation. The scaling is a little weird there, but. They did that in another episode too, where they had this static foreground and then the moving background, and it always works. It always works. I'm turning down the audio again because I don't want it to be too loud and hurt my ears. I'll in post I'll put in the original audio to kind of compensate. Okay, so I think he is actually big. I think he is a big. I love this. I love that they do this with the moving background and the static foreground like this. The church. It's gonna like pop out and fucking jump scare me. Is that Isaac Newton? Oh, it's the prophet. He's gonna be appearing up there. Man. Okay, final thoughts. I'm gonna go ahead and say I think my biggest criticism, maybe even my only criticism for that episode, which by the way, that is maybe the best episode so far. The only criticism I have is that there may have been too many jump scares. Just a little too many. I know obviously the point is to be scary, but a little less jump scares, a little bit more kind of building dread and stuff like that. There was one part that I think is a good example where it kind of built up the sense of dread. You know, I said this in the tips video I released recently, but like a good example is kind of just making your audience look for something in a room that just isn't there. This was a pretty good scene. I think this is a good example of that, of what I'm talking about. It's quiet. Let me turn up the audio a little bit. Okay, it's not that quiet. Yeah, I think this is a very good example of building up that dread. Smaller detail, I do like that they kind of just altered the face here very slightly, the face that we've kind of grown to become familiar with. They just kind of subtly changed the expression on it. I think that's good. I think the idea here is that they might be suffering from awake, which is something that, again, talked about in the series. You know, you need some context. Please go watch those videos. They're really, really, they're good, and you can definitely see the improvements they've made. So I like what they've done here, because to me it kind of, given what we know about how in the past how their faces have distorted, I think this is good because it leaves some to your imagination. It makes you wonder, like, what is wrong with their faces? What's going on here? What is he seeing? That's another thing. That's a good point. What is he seeing here? What is he seeing that is causing his face to be so distraught? And then that causes your brain to fill in some blanks. That creates a lot of room for your brain to try its best to fill in gaps. And when your brain tries to fill in gaps, buddy, it usually does the worst case scenario, and that's kind of, you know, that's its survival. But I like this. In the review I made, I did complain that I felt like the distorted faces that they were going with at the time, I did feel like it was a little much. I feel like it kind of leaned it more towards the goofy side of things, kind of took me out of the series a little bit. And I think that this is a good change. Now, I'm not saying that they should do this with every episode, um, because then, that runs the risk of using censorship too much. Um, I think that the creator or creators need to find kind of a happy medium. I think what is going on here is a good placeholder. I do think at some point there's going to need to be, some work on figuring out what that is, that happy medium. Because I think it exists. They just need to find it. I think that they did a great job. I'm happy that they seem to have listened to the feedback, their community has said. I would keep an eye on them. I would definitely keep an eye on them because I think that they have a lot of potential. Appreciate it if you've watched it this far. Please, 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 please go check out the Baroque Hour is the name of the channel. Orpheus is the name of the series. I'll put a link, of course, in the description and everything like that. Please consider subscribing to myself and also them. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.